Hi, looks like I am streaming live. I am trying a new piece of software. This is my first time streaming both at the same time on Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So bear with me, but I can see that there is a space for comments, and I'm really most interested in creating dialogue. So I thought I'd come on and talk a little bit about why I do the work that I do. So most of the people that follow me know about my work with teens and tweens. And I think it's really important to be able to share with you what drives my passion behind this work and why I think this work is so important, especially now. So, most of you know I've been working with teens and tweens, or mostly teens, for about 10 years now. Um, there, I've been working with teens before the whole shutdown and all the world changes. Um, I've been working with them in the capacity of alternative education and facilitating immersive learning experiences, which came through my work of alternative education advocacy, getting your kids out of school, out of these systems, and creating spaces for them to learn immersively and to learn socially and in community and really experience safe spaces. With the immersive learning retreats that I've been facilitating for the past 8 years through Project World School, a company that both my son and I co-founded, those were spaces to have these out of comfort zone experiences and really immerse ourselves in cultural learning experiences as a way to process the outer worlds, but I always brought in the inner world processing. So, you know, what lenses am I seeing these new experiences through? How are these lenses creating, or aligning with values? How do I identify with such experiences? Is there greater meaning? What other inner experiences do I have that I can fall back on to make it make sense to create meaning? So all of the tools that I had been facilitating in the immersive education experiences, for the outer worlds, the inner world stuff became this large library of work, of inner world processing that I was doing. And that was really sparked through my own self-healing journey as somebody who grew up with a lot of trauma and a lot of emotional abuse and abandonment issues and stuff like that. My adolescence, that whole adolescence period in my life was a massive, absolute massive struggle. And the struggle that took place really set the stage for the type of adult that I became. And so, many things I was really passionate about, but other things I couldn't really process through a real healthy lens. And before I became a parent, I really wanted to spend a lot of time to heal these traumas and these wounds, and this became part of my self-directed education process. So I went through so many different modalities and journeys in order to heal unhealthy attachments, my childhood attachment issues, to really being able to look at and challenge limiting beliefs and understand shadows and shame and all this other work. And thankfully, there has been an abundance of resources available to anybody who wants to take on this kind of self-directed healing journey. And that was something that I did for more than 20 years. And as I raised my own child, The earlier years were really simple for me because I was very conscious and very aware. But as soon as adolescence, my son entered into his own adolescence, a lot of the unhealed adolescent trauma came up again, and that became something I was acutely aware of. And I started to apply the use of tools and processing, and allowed the family, right, the whole family, to be aware of the process in order to hold accountability, right? And so, yeah, so a lot of my own healing journey informs the work that I do. And when I started to work with teens 10 years ago, in collaboration with Miro, my son, on these immersive learning retreats, it wasn't just about the education. It was about, yes, the learning experiences happen naturally, right? Because we are an unschooling family, and the really adapting a natural learning approach has been part of the family approach, and taking that kind of partnership, working with other teens, really brought an incredible joy and purpose to my life. But noticing there's got to be the normalization about the dialogue of the inner worlds. Like, how is this making sense? What filters are we processing this information through? And how can a person be seen, heard, and understood in such a way where the space is really a safe space to do that? And understanding that I needed people, adults, to show up for me when I was a teen in my own adolescence and there was nobody there, gave me the drive or the inspiration to be there for teens. So over the past 10 years, I've worked with hundreds, literally hundreds of young people, teens and tweens in all different capacities. And there is one thing common right now that looks very different than it did just a year and a half ago. So we know from a biological perspective, teens are really biologically wired to step out of their comfort zones, take risks, try on different identities, to really figure out how they fit into the world, right? And this is a time of lots of different playing with identities and passions and values and so forth, and playing with the idea of who they are in the world. But what looks different right now is the world. We are collectively experiencing a trauma. It's a shared trauma, right? Because the world looks very different. And in fact, during a time where the adolescent brain is wired to step out and really play with where they fit, the world, it's as if the rug below their feet has been pulled out from them. We are looking at a very different world than most of us have expected, right? We expected our natural, in adolescence, our natural rites of passage. Our, teens are expecting to go to their dances, or to travel, or to get their driver's license, or to get their first job. There's so many things that are no longer available to teens right now because the world looks very different. And what I've noticed over the last year and a half is that many teens that are experiencing this, outer world trauma are taking this into their inner world processing without having the support of safe spaces or tools to start processing and unpacking that. So over the past, oh my gosh, so many dogs. Over the past year and a half, I've been developing and translating all the tools that I've used in my own self-healing journey and the tools that I've been facilitating in having the vocabulary to process the inner worlds through the outer world experiences, and have created these processes, like a systematic process and safe spaces and connection and community to be able to unpack these things, right? So this is the work that I've been doing, and the value of the work that I've been doing has been shared with me, over and over and over by the teens that I've been serving. So I wanted to just come on here and see if anybody had any comments or thoughts about what teens need, or what your teens or young people are going through right now, and to see if there are any ways that I can help support you. I don't do a ton of work with parents. For me, the work that I do is really hands-on with the teens, although I do collaborate with another coach who does. We do work together with parents in sort of a parenting paradigm around unschooling and natural learning and healing and all that stuff. But today I'm really just talking about the work that I do with teens and the reason why I do that. I have right now 3 ways of supporting teens, actually 4 ways of supporting teens. So if you have a young person in your life that may need some support, there are some things that I can do to help support you and your family. And the first way is I do offer one-on-one coaching, although I have a very limited availability in my schedule. I work with teens one-on-one for once a week, and then we continue to have dialogue via text and stuff like that for follow-ups. And the work that I do with teens one-on-one is very issue oriented. So we've got a thing that we're working on, and we're going to set a time limit to that. So if we're going to work together for 1 month or 3 months max, we're going to have a goal that we're going to reach at the end of that. And the one-on-one work that I do is really intense. It involves a lot of challenges, a lot of accountability back and forth, and a lot of check-ins. And it's a really wonderful way to support a teen. So they've got tools specifically around a particular issue that they're working on, and tools that they can self-regulate and self-heal and be in charge of their own management of those issues. I don't look for creating opportunities or situations where there's a reliance. I want to make sure that I am that mentor that helps support them into the next phase. So that's sort of a brief description of the one-on-one work that I do. I only take on 2 new clients a month. I've got space right now for 1. If you know or have a teen who is ready or interested in this kind of work, please do send me a message at the link below. I also have my flagship course. It's a 12-week course. Unfortunately, now I'm in the middle of the course for teens in Europe and North America, the Americas on this time zone. So the next course that I have for teens 14 on up won't start till September, but I do have a course coming up, the exact same course for a different time zone. I've got Asia and Australia time zone coming up, and that's going to happen in about a week and a half. So if you are watching this and you are in those time zones, please do send me a message. I would love to fill this course up. I've been asked to produce a course for this time zone. I haven't done it before, so it'll be the first one. And it'll be a more convenient time. for young people living in Asia, Australia, New Zealand, that area. So let me know if you're interested. The 12-week course is set up similar to the one-on-one coaching, but every month and every week we have a theme. So we have something that we're workshopping. We're going to look at a specific issue like beliefs. Where do beliefs come from? How are beliefs tied to emotions? Then I'll give specific challenges in our course, and I'll send the teens off into breakout rooms, and they workshop this thing with whatever the topic is with other teens. Then we come back and we unpack all that stuff together, and then I give them weekly challenges. Sometimes the challenges are in the form of doing a mindfulness exercise or to journal a certain thing, or sometimes we do breathing or self-gazing. Sometimes we do these downloadable worksheets. Sometimes we watch videos and create feedback, but it's always the challenges are always around whatever that week's topic. And each week the topics grow upon the other. So we do a 12-week course, and at the end of it, the teens come out of this with a full toolbox of tools to help really support their growth through whatever stage they are in life. These are tools that I still use well into my 50s. So you don't outgrow them. And sometimes I think back and I wonder, what would it have been like had I had these tools from an early age? And what struggles could I have avoided? But anyway, so the 12-week course for teens in Asia and Australia will be starting in about 10 days. So if you're interested in that, please do go to the website and click on the 12-week course to get more information and to register for that. And then I also have an 8-week course, which is a more condensed version for younger teens. And that's coming up again, starting next week as well, or I think it's on the 12th is when it starts. And it is a course that starts to help to normalize these sorts of conversations in the younger age. And we start the self-inquiry process, but we don't do it so much where we send the kids into breakout rooms. We do a bunch of brainstorming and gamification of these ideas as a group. So it really creates a relationship to talking about the inner workings or the self-inquiry stuff in a very positive, fun light. So that for the younger tweens and teens, the 8-week course is coming up. That's coming up next week. So if you're interested in that, again, go to the website. And then finally, I have a writing course, which is a 6-week course based on the hero's journey. And that is coming up also in about a week and a half. And this is a course. We meet once a week. Every week, the participants will be guided through a specific stage of the hero's journey based on the work of Joseph Campbell and many others. And it's based on mythology, and it's a way to, again, really process self-inquiry and self-development through the lens of fiction. And it's going to be a lot of fun. So at the end of the 6 weeks, every young person will have their own hero's journey, creative story, piece of fiction written. And this is for young people 11 and up. So any age, really. So, that's the way that I've been supporting young people, teens and tweens, and it does matter. Teens and tweens need safe spaces right now. They need spaces where they know that there's an adult that sees them, that hears them, that understands them, that shows up for them, that provides spaces where it's safe to be seen. And let me tell you, I've told you over the past 10 years, I've literally worked with hundreds of teens. And I have many, many beautiful relationships continuing well after working with them. These are friendships. I am that crazy aunt that they can come to when things get tough or they need just an opinion about a thing going on in their lives. I've got teens that, or young people who I haven't spoken to or 2 or 3 years, and then they send me a message, Lainey, can I ask you a question about this thing that's going on? What would you do? Or what do you think about this? Or, just being that safe person that they can bounce ideas off. I don't have an agenda other than to make sure that they are safe and happy and they have the tools that they need to carry on with their lives. That's why I do this work. I do this work because it's important. So if I can support you and your teens or tweens on their own journey, let me know. That's it. So thanks.